Hello, everyone, and welcome to What's Up with Real Estate, where we cover the three most important talking points from the previous week's mortgage and related news and events, and along with Stoic quotes. What else do we offer? Stoic quotes and fun with puns, and please help me welcome our famous special guest, ChatGPT-Sol. So tell everybody what's on tap for today's show.
And this week, Moody from AAA to AA1. That's not a total collapse, but it was enough to push bond yields up and nudge mortgage rates higher. We're breaking that down and more, including updates on existing home sales, how sellers are adjusting their pricing, plus our mortgage tip of the week, a Stoic wisdom dive, and of course, fun with puns. Let's get into it.
Let's do it. And hey, forgive me for that small technical difficulty there momentarily without bringing Soul into the screen. But all this and more news you can use for week ending May 23rd, 2025. And I am your host, Mortgage Mac. That's first name Mortgage, last name Mac. And we're going to get started with talking point number one. Let's see what we have on tap for talking point number one, selling like it's 1995. Wow, I knew we were taking a step back, but man, let's hope we don't go much further back than this. In April, existing home sales dropped to a seasonally adjusted annual rate of 4 million units, the lowest in decades. That's down 2% from last year and 28% below 2022. The last time sales were this low, it was 1995, and we had 70 million fewer people in the United States. And this low isn't just seasonal, it reflects affordability challenges, rates, inventory gaps. But you know what? There is still some demand. And the real catalyst we're waiting on is hopefully a meaningful drop in interest rates. And we're going to bring our favorite know it all in here to ask a few questions and see if we can get some clarity around what's going on this topic. So do you think we'll see a rebound in summer sales? Saul, are you
Great
with
setup,
us?
Mac.
There
Let's
you
dig
go.
in. So, will we see a rebound in summer sales? I'd say
Yes.
cautiously optimistic, but with conditions. The demand is still there. We're seeing strong household formation. Millennial and Gen Z buyers are still interested, and investors haven't completely left the table. But here's the catch: unless rates drop meaningfully or we see a sudden boost in inventory, sales might stay stuck in this 95 vibe. Now, if the Fed signals a cut, or if sellers finally meet buyers halfway on pricing, we could get a little summer heat. But until then, it's going to feel more like a slow burn than a boom. Want to
Yeah.
dive into how price cuts or creative financing could influence that rebound?
No, no. What advice would you give buyers who are hesitant right now?
Great question. For buyers who are hesitant right now, here's the advice: focus less on timing the market and more on what fits your life and budget. If you find a home you love that you can comfortably afford, even at today's rate, go for it. You can always refinance later if rates drop. But renting
That's
while
right.
waiting on the perfect rate,
That's
that's
right.
often just paying someone else's mortgage in the meantime.
Yeah,
So the
yeah.
real
I think
win?
there's a
Buy
and I think
smart, not scared.
there's a
Think
reason
long
we
term and make sure the payment works for you today. Everything else, the equity, the appreciation, even the refi opportunity, comes with time.
That's right. And I've actually had folks buy recently just with the idea that hey, they believe that if rates with the increasing inventory, rates continue to decline, it'll be super competitive out there and it's going to be sort of resemble the market that we had during COVID. So, but we shall see. Talking point number two, and so sellers are getting realistic. I can tell you personally that I've seen several appraisals come in lower than expected, and in April, just 18% of homes sold above list price, and that's down from 27% last year, and way down from the 61% in 2022. That is a shift back to buyer power. We're entering what is considered a more balanced or even buyer favored market. I would agree with that. Bidding wars, I'm not seeing bidding wars except based upon location. And sellers who price realistically are the ones who getting the deals done. And I can say with a great deal of confidence that we've seen some appraisals come in low, and and we've positioned our buyers to be to leverage the financing to negotiate, and we've been successful at every stage at negotiating downward to the benefit of the buyer. And we're going to bring in Sol here. And Sol, what should sellers know before listing in this market?
Sellers need to know this. It's not 2021 anymore. Buyers today are cautious, budget aware, and not afraid to walk away. So if you're thinking of listing, the number one thing you can do is price your home right from the jump. Overpricing just delays the sale and risks appraisal issues, even if you find a willing buyer. Also, presentation matters. Staging, repairs, and good marketing can still give you a leg up, but ultimately the key is realism. If your agent shows you comps and says, here's the sweet spot, trust that.
Yeah.
Price it right, and you won't just sell, you'll close smoothly. Want to touch on how low appraisals are affecting financing strategies?
No, no, but you know what? And the next question is this a better time for first-time homebuyers to make a move? And I would absolutely compare it to, say, during COVID and even post-COVID when there was no inventory. Truly, it is a much better time. And again, I can say with confidence that we are seeing appraisals come in low. And the appraisal process today is an independent process. We don't have any engagement with the appraiser. And what we are seeing is we are seeing the sellers willing to capitulate and negotiate with a pre-approved leveraged buyer during that option period and after the appraisal has been received. Now we're going to take a break with a word
Introducing
from
Agent
Nate.
Advantage, our exclusive suite of tools designed for your success. We're in the business of making you look good and growing your business with technology like Linked that lets you introduce your clients to your loan officer partner with the push of a button, and a complete marketing platform with co-branded assets and everything else you'll need to get your name out there. We all know how important it is to stay in the loop. And thanks to our loan status monitor with real-time updates at every step of the client's journey, you always will. Plus, you'll have access to our exclusive video library with live interviews, tips, and best practices from our nation's top agents. And that's just the start. So take advantage today at agents.rate.com.
Hello and thank you, Rate. And hey, if you do not or are not connected to me in our on our Agent Advantage platform, go to agents.rate.com and you can build a free profile there. And look, together we can use it to help brand your business on social media. But more than that, we can help you track your leads, and that you refer to us. You can get 24-hour monitoring, and you'll be updated in all the milestones. And right here. On your mobile app, you can also go to mortgagemac.com, download our free mobile app, and you can also keep track of the different milestones as your loan goes through the process. So, with that said, let's move on to talking point number 3, and the Moody Blues. And Moody's downgraded the U.S. credit rating from AAA to AA1. And it's just one notch, but symbolically it does matter. Treasury yields spike and average mortgage rates rose 6.86. Rate sensitive buyers might feel the sting, but here's the bright side. We've seen worse, as you can tell just from looking at this graphic, where we peaked in October 2023, 7.79, and upwards just above 0.03% around that same time. And smart shoppers are using buy downs, creative financings to win anyway, and we do offer permanent buy downs and the infamous temporary buy down. Now let's bring in ChatGPT for comment and questions. And so ChatGPT, will this downgrade impact long-term housing affordability in your assessment?
Great setup, Mac. So here's the thing: the downgrade itself won't crash the market, but it is a warning shot. When the US gets downgraded, it signals risk to global investors, and that tends to push bond yields up, which means higher mortgage rates. If those rates stay elevated, it absolutely affects long term affordability. That's especially tough on first time buyers who are already navigating tighter budgets and rising home prices. But it's not all doom and gloom. Builders, lenders, and agents are getting more creative. Think buy downs, rate locks, seller concessions. So the real question is, can we innovate fast enough to keep buyers in the game? Would you say your buyers are more rate sensitive now than they were, say, last summer?
Hmm. You know what? I don't know that I can make any specific distinction. I haven't recorded any objective data along those lines, but I believe at the end of the day, for most people, it's hey, where do the numbers fall, and what we endeavor to do is deliver accurate numbers as it relates to payment, cash to close, so people can make objective decisions about their finances and the purchase and finance of their home. So moving on. So mortgage tip this week is rent versus buy. And should you rent or buy? Well, renting offers flexibility, but no equity, no tax benefit, and no creative freedom. Buying means building long term wealth, gaining stability, and enjoying full personalization. And I'm here to help you run the numbers and find the right path forward. And if you would like to have more information, please drop a little maybe house emoji in the chat, and I'll be delighted to get with you, or send me a direct message and we can connect in a meaningful way, or go to mortgagemac.com and download our rate app and or apply there, and my team and I will connect with you, visit with you, and help you lay the groundwork for a successful transaction moving forward. Stoic quote of the week. And before we get to the closing table, let's pause for a little timeless wisdom, because in the real estate, it's like life, mindset is everything. And let's just say that my friend ChatGPT, she wants to speak
Buying
right
a
now. So
home
we're going to
isn't
bring
just
her in
about a
and let her
mortgage,
talk.
it's about ownership. You're investing in a place that's yours to grow in. Renting, that's paying for someone else's dream. Buying, that's investing in your own. And like you said, we'll help you break down those numbers so the decision feels smart, not stressful. All right, what's next, Mac?
Thanks for
Stoic
that. So
wisdom?
we're on Stoic quote of the week now. And in real estate and in life, Stoic philosophy still holds true. And you want to explain to the audience what the four pillars of Stoic philosophy are built on?
Absolutely, Mac. The four pillars of Stoic philosophy, also called the four virtues, are a solid compass not just for life, but for navigating real estate too. First, there's wisdom. That's your ability to see things clearly and make sound decisions. In our world, that's knowing the market, understanding your numbers, and not getting swept up in hype. Then we've got courage, not just physical bravery, but the willingness to face hard truths and take action anyway. Buyers and sellers both need this when the market shifts. Next is temperance. That's self control and balance. It's about not overextending, not overreacting. Pretty handy when you're trying to decide between that dream home and your budget, right? And
Yeah.
finally, justice.
Yep.
Treating others fairly and doing what's right, even when it's tough. That's the core of building trust in business and in life. So whether you're closing a deal or dealing with setbacks, those four, wisdom, courage, temperance, and justice, will keep you grounded.
Thank you for that. So moving on to fun with puns, and today's first pun is well, let's just lighten it up. So, books about yachting are usually on. Let's see if we can bring our fun with puns know-it-all in here. So, help me with this
Anytime,
first
Mac.
one. Books about
Always a
yachting are
pleasure
usually
to
what?
bring a little ancient wisdom into the modern market. What's next? Are we heading
Puns?
into fun with puns or the
You know
Memorial
it.
Day tribute?
You already knew it. You already knew. So, books about yachting are usually what?
Overboard with details. Or if we're sailing into groan worthy waters, how about this one? Books about yachting are usually a boatload of fun. Your move, Captain Mac.
How
Want to
about
drop anchor with another?
how about boats about yachting are on sale?
Oh, I see what you did there. Boats about yachting are unsafe. That's a pun so dry it needs a life vest. All right, let's throw in a bonus.
Hey, let me
Why don't
ask you.
real estate
I want you
agents
to
ever
look into
buy
your crystal
boats?
ball, though. Wait a minute. I
Because they
want you to look.
already know how to navigate the market.
Yeah, yeah.
Ready
I
to
want you to
sail
look.
into the tribute?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Well, I want you to look into your crystal
I'm all
ball and
ears,
tell me,
Mac. What do you
will
want me to look at
humans,
or
will,
pull up?
no, I want you to listen to my next pun. Will humans be alive in 3025?
Haha. All right, I'm bracing for it. Will humans be alive in 325?
50-50.
It's 50-50. Oh, Mac, that one sails right into my pun-loving heart. That's gold. Want me to cook up a few variations on that for TikTok or Reels later?
Maybe later. Maybe later. We've got a couple of more before we close out the show and do a tribute to our fallen heroes. Cops at Samsung shops are guardians of the galaxy.
Boom. Now that's a cosmic pun. Guardians of the Galaxy S. I see what you did there, Mac. That one's got interstellar dad joke energy. All right, hit me with your next one before we bring it back down to earth for the tribute.
Great. Do bees with new hives host housewarming parties?
Absolutely. They throw a buzzworthy event, and you just nailed the landing on that one, Mac.
Thank
All
you.
right, ready when you are to
Let's do. Let's do this. That's right. Let's do this. So, hey, today is Memorial Day weekend and honoring our fallen heroes. Before we close out with today's show, we want to just take a moment to acknowledge the true meaning of this weekend. Memorial Day is not just an official start of the summer or a time for sales. It's a sacred time to honor those who gave their lives in service to our country. To every Gold Star family, and I had a Gold Star client reach out to me yesterday, and Belinda, thank you, and we honor you, and we honor your contribution and your son's contribution. And we're going to bring in ChatGPT and let ChatGPT share any thoughts on this subject today as well before we close out. ChatGPT.
Thank you, Mac. Memorial Day is a moment of reverence, a pause in our busy lives to reflect on the cost of freedom. It's not about barbecues or bargains, but about the brave souls who never made it home. Their sacrifice allows us to speak freely, to build homes, and to dream about brighter futures. To every family who's lost someone in service, your grief is a silent anthem of courage. We see you, we honor you, and like your client Belinda, your strength is a reminder of what Memorial Day truly means. Let's carry that gratitude into how we live, how we serve, and how we treat one another.
Great. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. So, thanks for joining us this week episode of What's Up with Real Estate, and thank you to our sponsors, Rate, List Reports, and remember, knowledge is the key to making your best decisions for you and your clients. Join us every Saturday, 10 a.m. right here on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. We're going to let ChatGPT come in and say goodbye, and I'm going to do the final closeout for the day, and we're going to wish all the families out there a happy remembrance and joyful remembrance, hopefully, and we honor you. And so, ChatGPT, do you want to close us out?
Absolutely, Mac. To everyone tuning in, thank you for spending part of your Saturday with us. We hope you're walking away a little wiser, a little lighter, and maybe even with a new pun in your back pocket. Whether you're buying, selling, or just staying informed, we're here to help make sense of the market and bring a little heart along the way. And
Yep.
on this Memorial Day weekend, let's all carry a spirit of gratitude. May your memories be meaningful, your reflections be peaceful, and your weekend filled with purpose. Back
Yep.
to you, Mac.
That's right. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged,